Hiya, bit of a quick video today. So a few people have asked about this rear carrier to front carrier conversion, so I'm just going to go over it quickly and then I'll be making one for another bike as well.
So it actually has a little extension on it at the moment, but there's a company that make them, although this is a DIY one, so you can just use like a bit of flat stock. You can see the other side of it there, so yeah, it's just bolted through, goes through the quick release, but if you take the quick release out, it'll stay there because it's bolted to the rear eyelet of the fork. You can see through there. So this came about when I had a fork that didn't have the front eyelet. Actually this one doesn't either, and I wanted to put a front rack and basket on it. But then I've also used it on other bikes just to reposition the rack sort of slightly up and back. So this provides sort of not a weak point, but a point that if you overload your rack too much, that this will bend or break rather than snapping the eyelet of your fork. And I'm going to modify a rack now in this video, but this is just a rear rack. So this is an old Blackburn mountain rack that I'm going to chop. But seeing as I've got this surly fork now, I want to do something a little bit different. So I want to use these eyelets here. I'm just going to use this rear one, but then it makes this one kind of pointless. So if I can bend that one as well and then just use a longer bolt, that'll work out quite well. I don't know. So I need a basket to sit about there. Those cables need to go up a little bit. Certainly space for it.
So that's pretty much it as far as the actual carrier goes. Then you need to do that little adapter down by the dropout. Or you can just buy the Gammo one. But you can use this as a sort of a guide, an idea of what you need to do.
You want it centered on the wheel or further back. You don't want it out forward because that'll change the handling of it. You want it tucked into the head tube as much as you can without it getting in the way of the brake, and you want it as close to the tire as possible. The higher the weight is, the more it affects handling as well, which is why lowrider panniers are a really great thing. Now to this, I'm going to cut these levers as much as I can and then bend them in to that point there. So it should sit about there.
It needs to go that way. I might actually have to trim that all the way back to where that joint is. So it didn't look like the stays were going to be long enough to reach that eyelet. So I sort of trimmed it back a little bit and then bent those stays in a slightly different fashion, and then they could just reach that eyelet. So the ends of the stays are hammered just to create a flat surface for mounting, and then holes drilled through for the bolts.
So I've got, this is the non-drive side, I've got that
all done, and then it's looking pretty well centered once I get this side down a little bit more. So just that one hole left, and then a couple of holes up here either side for those brackets to bolt to that. Underneath, I sort of have to bend and twist them, and then drill a couple of holes either side. So I'm gonna make the other side match this. It would be stronger to make this just out of some flat bar, but this is definitely, it's going to be strong enough for the weight that I need it to hold. That's the one. Holes. So that's more or less it. I haven't got the right hardware, so I'd like some more rounded button bolts there. And it needs some thorough testing before I take it out on some like longer rides. It seems really sturdy. It should hold 10 kilos pretty easily. It seems pretty sturdy. I don't think it'll hold as much as what like an expensive Surly rack would handle. But as long as it can handle some tools and, you know, probably about 10 kilograms max, I'd say. This isn't my shopping bike, so it doesn't have to carry too much. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one.